So now, since we have done a greater part of our areas where we started interacting and checking in different casting and doing other types of nodes and all this stuff, and I guess you guys also will be able to understand that how game development actually start working and how Unreal Engine is going to be used for different purposes in making interactions. I want to actually introduce to you to one of the like it's kind of a error message, but it actually doesn't show up unless when you exit the game. So let's say that we were actually doing these emitters, and for some sake, let's say that we never actually created these emitters. They were never, and this particular node was, although if the overlap happened and we had the casting done, but after the casting we did not do any sequence, or we did not do any emission of any of these particles. And as a result of that, none of these fire particle 1, fire particle 2, fire particle 3 were set. None of these were set actually with any value. So, and based on this one, if we actually go to our game plan and we start moving it, you will see that we actually moved and nothing happened. Of course, because no emitters were actually called and no emitters were actually found. So we can keep on moving and we can move out and nothing happened. And as you see, even there's no crash in the game as well. It's still working. But however, as soon as you exit, there you go. What you have here now actually is a set of error messages which has been generated by Unreal Engine, which is allowing us actually to let us know that there was an error which happened, and due to that error we received these messages, and the error were actually part of the blueprint. So this is a very nice a message log where we can actually see different warnings, different errors which may occur during our game development. So if you see here, it is showing you that actually it was a destroy component as a part of event graph, which was actually done in the my new actor. See the my new actor which we created, bp underscore my new actor. And so destroy component was the one. So if you want to see actually that what destroy component was there, you can actually click on it and it will take you to that. I said this is the destroy component which is creating the error message. Actually it will be giving you the rest of it. I just closed the window, but it has it will be, I think you have, if you go to the output log also, not in this one, but I think yeah, it's not in this one, but I'll just take you in one of them. So each of the destroy component was actually creating error, and it was creating error. Why? Because it was trying to access the variables of fire particle 1, fire particle 2, fire particle 3, which is actually having no value. There was no value in it actually, and actually it was not even set. It was not even set actually in the starting from this particular node itself. So it is creating that error. Now to make sure that if this particular variable is actually set, and to see if there is it is a valid variable with the valid information, there is a node which we can use. So let me just disconnect with this one, and okay, let's say pick this one, and if I copy paste fire particle one more time and just leave it here, and if I take a pen out, okay, and we type is valid, so you see here that we have two different is valid commands here, actually nodes. One of them is the function, okay, and one of them is actually a condition which checks, it determines if actually something is valid or not. So one with the question mark, let's select that one. Okay, so now we have another one here. Okay, I think there's going out of our space here, so let's just have a little bit more. Okay, and we have plugged in the input object is if this particular object is valid. So let's just bring it underneath here also, and a little bit on this side. So what it is checking actually, that this particular node is checking if this particular variable is actually set and it is a valid. So if we execute on this one, and if it is valid, then only destroy the component which is of fire particle, the emitter. Let me just take you one more time again. What this particular node is doing is actually taking the fire particle variable as an input object and checking if this object was actually set or not. If it is set and it can if it's set actually, then is valid will be true, and it will create is valid will be true, and in that creation that you can create a flow to the destroy component of this fire particle. So this in this scenario, our fire particle will be destroyed. Okay, so let's go and fire particle 1 basically. So let's just test with this one first, and then we'll go and check out with the other ones. So let's say we move into the collision. Okay, again we did not actually checked, but anyways we will still test it. We did not created the fire particle first also, but let's say what happens. Now the error messages are less. So you see now it's showing the fire particle 2 and fire particle 3. Earlier it was fire particle 1 as well. So the destroy component of fire particle 1 and fire particle 3 is actually creating. Why? Because we did not put the is valid node to make sure that if that fire particle 2 variable or fire particle 3 variable was actually set or not. So what we can do, we can do the same for these two as well. What we will do actually, let's little bit space here, we'll have another is valid copy and paste, and we'll just paste it here, and we'll have them execute with this one and then execute with this one. Okay, and I don't know why this size became bigger actually, but let me see, copy paste. Okay, so this is how it is. So we have fire particle 2 test, same exactly the way fire particle 1 is being tested for is valid purpose. Okay, little bit more space here actually. Okay, and in the third one, let's just put it here in this case, and in third one we'll just copy and paste again, and we'll copy the is valid, and let's just plug everything in it, is valid, and on the third sequence create this. So there you go. Okay, much better actually now. Okay, fine. This also, let's try to. Okay, there you go. So what we have done now, that we have now created an is valid node for all of the three variables to make sure that it is checked and it's set and we don't get an error message out of it. Let me just double click this one, and okay, just let like this. Okay, better. So let's compile, and without even creating these ones first, let's just run it, and we'll just go over it, overlap begin, overlap end, let's exit, and there you go, no error messages at all. Let's go back and connect to our sequence, and you know the whole logic of creating a sequence itself. Let's just have this little bit on this side. Okay, what the heck? Okay, think this is need to be a little bit on this side. Yeah, and more space. Okay, so everything is in perfect condition now. We have our is valid to make sure there is no error message, overlap and end overlap all working perfectly. Great. So having said this, then we will go to our next particular topic, and we'll cover some more details and in terms of how we can add some more cool functionalities to our game. Yeah, one more thing before we can actually go into the next topic. I think it's better to have our areas of the logic getting more commented. So let me just move here and just give some space. Actually, like, I don't know why the hell I'm actually not moving a lot. So let me just make more space. Let's just bring it here. Sorry, bring it here, and let's bring it here, and select the node, and let's bring it here. So I will just select all of these, this one, this one, this one, this and this, and let's press C, and here we will saying destroy fire particle logic. Fine. So you can actually comment under a comment, so it makes things more clearer for anybody to actually understand. It's like a sub program which you can have, and you can actually see it, and I mean, it will be easily readable for anybody for who wants to understand the logic for your game itself. Let's just compile, and let's move to the next one. Okay, so let's move forward into the next topic and try to add up some more functionalities. Before that, I mean, I think it's better that we get our comments more clearer for even for this particular area. You can see there is a lot of space, so it's better that you utilize the space for your comments and make your flow look very clear for anybody to actually see. So now we have this, and then you can see, okay, and then for emitter 1, for the scene 1, we can have a comment section here coming up. I'll just add it. I'm just gonna make space for this, all of it, so that it's very clear. The flow is just not going haywire everywhere actually. So let's just move a little bit down on this one as well, and in this case let's just have these also as a sequence straight away. Let's try to use our reroute node actually, and so highlight this one and double click. Once you're double clicking on it, okay, there is a flow where we can easily see that if it's which flow is going where exactly. Let's highlight this one and make another reroute node, and there you go. So now you have your flows very much clear for your users to understand. Okay, let me again. Okay, it's very important to have these comment sections done actually, because as soon as you will start getting more complicated functionality produced for your game, you will lose the track of most of the things. So let's just select these and press C and saying emitter 1 system, so that we know exactly that this is for emitter 1 system and it's creating emitter 1 for that. The second one is this, so let's just move a little bit down and reroute node that it came in here, and let's just select all of them and say emitter system 2. Okay, did I put one? Okay, so emitter 1 system. Well, yeah, let's just name it emitter system 1. Okay, that's good enough. So here we have all our comments nicely done. Let's move a little bit down here and have this one also, and just select these and press C, emitter system 3. There you go. Nicely and very organized way of. That's the good part of our working in Unreal Engine, specifically in blueprints. It gives you all this flexibility for even for a non-coder who have no prior experience in programming, to use the same functionalities but using just nodes and all. So there you go. Now we have done all our part in making sure that everything is in a nice and organized way. If you go back to our main level actually, and we click on the ball itself, you will see that we have a red line coming up. So this is what actually the camera is connected to. So the view which you're getting at the time when the game is starting is actually showing you the ball from this particular angle, and that's how you and also of course once the the ball starts moving around here and there with of course AWST, what you call keys pressed, actually you will be seeing the camera rolling along with it. Now in this particular blueprint, if we click on the blueprint section and then browse to asset, it will take us to the folder which is rolling BP blueprint. And if we double click on this is where the actual blueprint is stored. And we also have something else called rolling game mode, which will be coming in the future when we will be building our games, and we will be discussing on what does actually a game mode means. So for now, let's just double click this blueprint, and if you see that already in the blueprint there are a lot of other commands which are already created, which is actually a part of this template. So and it came with Unreal Engine, so they already did basics which are required to move the ball from here and there, already available in our blueprint. We will be creating these nodes for the game itself, because we will be also producing a game using the ball from the scratch, and we will be making all these nodes for that particular game from the scratch, in order for you to understand that how this whole thing works and how the mechanics work. So for now, we're just going to add in this particular blueprint some more functionality. So I think what's the first thing is done actually is that if we click, and I think if you go to the keyboard, I think if keyboard, yep, keyboard inputs, keyboard is keyboard keys, events actually, and if you scroll down, and you can actually see that a lot of keyboard keys are already there, which you can select to do certain functionality in your game. So in our case, let's say we select O. So this is the node which is going to be created, and once this node is created actually, then what you will be able to do that every time when you press O, it will trigger something, and when you would release O, it will trigger something. So that's when the blueprint actually is going to work on. Now to make sure that this particular what you call press key actually works, we also need to add something more to our blueprint of the physics ball BP here, and that will be, I'll just show you now. So to check if this is while you are in the gameplay, that if this particular O key when press is working, let's use our the one and only print string, which I told you that it will be always used for any kind of debugging. And let's say that we are going to put a message that O key pressed. Okay, And for release, let's do the same thing, print string. And what should happen is when you release the O key, this is the message which is going to be printed. O key released. O key released. So fine, let's do this one and just have a check. Actually, let me just dock it here and press play. Now we have, if we press O, you will see, okay, if you see on the left top corner, if I press O, it will say O key press and O key released, O key press and O key press. So as much as time you press the key, it is going to print. So this shows that when you're pressing the O key, it is actually working fine. So if we go into like we want to actually do something with it actually when the O key is pressed. So what exactly we can do is that let's add something more functionality to our overall blueprint for the ball itself. Let's add a sphere basically and add a sphere collision. Okay, and this should be under, okay, let me see, where is it? Nope, we are going wrong actually. Okay, control Z, and okay, sorry. Nope. Let's first of all find out where is our sphere. So can we see it, the sphere? Okay. So you see the sphere is basically at wherever the camera was. And why it is happening? Because the sphere is linked to the spring arm where is the camera location, and it's taking the location of that particular place as well. So you see the camera and sphere both have the same location. Now what we can do actually is that we can increase the radius, and that's the radius which is getting increased. Or I think let's just delete. I think it's added to the wrong one. Let's add to the ball because we want to add the sphere, the collision sphere collision to the ball. So let's add sphere collision, and it is added to the ball itself. I hope so. And let's see if it's anywhere here. In our case, no. Let's increase the sphere. Okay, so now we have it. So you see here, let's make it 300, the sphere radius. So it's covering the whole radius over the ball itself, and this collision is going to actually work when the ball is going to move. Now for the collision, just want to see if it's going to be displayed and it's not hidden in the game. Let's just see that if it's connected, and you can see in the game as well. So if we play and we move, you can see the collision is actually moving along with our ball, the one which we just added. So okay, so let's just move in this case. Okay, so the collision is working fine, so we are gonna move it like this one, and let's press escape key, and we have the camera hidden in this way. Okay, so what we are going to test actually is that every time when the collision is going to work and overlap with other actors, we want to generate something out of it. We want to do something with it. So how to do that one, let's see on that one. So what we want to do actually is that once the ball moves around, we want to actually get a reference to all the actors which the collider of this particular sphere, which is the collision sphere, is actually working, and it's colliding with those actors. So how to do that one? Let's bring the sphere in it, and from the sphere we can get another node saying get overlapping actors. We can use the components, but that's for different reason. We want to just generally whatever actor is in the gameplay, we want to get the names of those particular actors, a reference to those actors, and want to do something with it. So we have a class filter here, but for now we're not going to use it. If you see here, now that we have another icon which is showing, and which is not actually a pin, but it's showing in a form of a boxes actually. So this donates actually that it looks like that it is stands for an array. An array actually is a set is a list of components or a list of values which are stored, and you can actually loop through the array and get the the name of the items at different point within the array itself. So if we take the pin out of it and we type for each loop, what this is going to do is that this particular node is going to loop through your particular array, and it's gonna find out different values which are stored in it when the sphere is colliding within your game with other actors. Okay, now going forward we want to say that every element, because in an array at every index every value is referenced as an element itself. You see array index is also there, but we're not going to use it. We're going to say, okay, for every index which is in the array, we need to get object name. This is the node. Okay, and you see that it gets the object name and it has a return value in the form of what? Yes, string. And we want to actually print out this particular string value. So let's say print string, and we want to basically take the name of the object which was in the array while it was looping, and we want to print the name of that particular object which was colliding with this sphere and print it on our screen. So let's see if it works. Okay, let's play and let's try to move on this side and press O. Don't forget. So you say physical BP C1O. So seems like it's not working. And what is it actually printing? It is printing the name of the actor itself, because the actor itself is also overlapping. And so if you press O, you will see it is just printing that. And why is it not printing these particular when it is overlapping with these actors? If you remember in earlier tutorial, if you take the static mesh and you scroll down to the details of static mesh, you have to find out area which is physics, and what was it? Let me just make it a little bit more. Under the collision, actually, generate overlap events. This has to be true. So once we have the collision, which is the sphere of the BP ball, when it is going to collide with this one, and this is also going to generate an overlap event. So it is required that this is true for the actor, so that it can pick up the name of this event based on this event and then also print it out. Let's just take all of them, and if you take all of them, if you see we have all selected, and generate overlap events for all of them. I think this is selected. Okay, all of them. Okay, fine, and we say generate overlap events. So now if you see, each of them has an overlap event ticked. So if we play now and move our ball close to the balls, the boxes itself, and press O, you will see now all that the cube names which are there have been taken, and because they were generating the event of collision event, we can get their names and start printing on it by pressing O. Always remember that we were actually doing it for under the physical BP on the press, on the key O pressed, and then it was taking the sphere and it was saying that tell me that what are the actors which are overlapping with the sphere itself, loop through them, get the name of each of that object and print the name of each of the object. Now this is just to test that okay, our function is working, but we want to do something better than just printing a string. We want to actually add some action. So let's add some action to it now.